Hey y'all, and welcome to my channel. Today I want to show you how to add sleeves onto a shirred dress. Now, shirring is really popular and there's lots of videos out there on how to do it yourself, but you can also buy fabric that's already shirred, like these that I found at Joann. And I want to show you how you can take this and add some cute sleeves on it in case you just want some extra coverage. Now, shirred fabric is a stretchy fabric that is stitched with elastic on the back. It's really forgiving and stretches with the body. So those are a few measurements that you are going to need to take. Now, the amount that you need to purchase for your dress is going to be roughly about 5 inches smaller than your bust. So if your bust is 40 inches, then you would purchase about 35 inches of fabric. Now, the first measurement you need to take is from the front of the dress to the back, just as if the tape measure was a shoulder strap, and mine's about 17 inches. The second measurement you need to take is your armhole measurement. So you're going to put the tape measure just like a strap and then have it come underneath your arm. You want to make sure you don't do it too tight, that you leave lots of wiggle room in there so that the underarm seam doesn't cut into your skin. So you will need that measurement, which mine is 24 inches. And then you'll also need to determine how long you want your sleeve. Now, I'm going to show you how to do a short sleeve, but if you prefer to do a long sleeve, you can definitely do that too. So basically, I just kind of measured from my strap down to the length I wanted it, and I added a little extra fabric because I did want it puffed, and I added about 2.5 inches for the hem at the top and the bottom. So you see mine is 14, and remember, it's always better to have a little bit extra than not enough. So the first thing you're going to do is to cut your shirring fabric so that it is the right size to go around you. Now, you would only have to do this if you bought more than what you need. If you bought exactly what you need to go around your body, then you can disregard this step. I happen to buy a little bit more, so I'm going to cut it off to the appropriate measurement. So to do that, you're simply going to use your scissors and cut through the shirred elastic part at the top. And then when you get down to the fabrics part, you will tear it. And this ensures that it is actually on the grain, and so you don't lose any fabric. From there, you need to sew this together to create a circle. So you're just going to match the top of the fabric, and I always match the last row of stitching, and then just continue pinning the whole length of the fabric all the way down to the selvage. Now, these particular fabrics were about 54 inches long, so I'm only 5'4", so I did have to cut off quite a bit in the length even to make a long dress. But then you're just going to sew the two raw edges together to create a side seam. Now, whether this seam is in the side of your body or the back of the body, that part doesn't matter. Set that part aside, and you're going to get another piece of your shirring fabric. I bought an extra 1/2 yard to create the sleeves, and you're going to fold it in half so that the selvages match on one side and the shirring matches on the other. Then you're going to cut out your sleeve rectangle. You're going to cut out the width of your sleeve, which mine was the 24 inches. And then the length of the sleeve, which I went ahead and did mine at 18 inches. So usually with 1/2 yard, you should have enough fabric to do a good sized short sleeve. So you should end up with two rectangles that are the width, which is all the way around your armhole, and then the length, which is going to be how long you want the sleeve. And remember, you can always cut it off shorter if it turns out to be a little bit too long. Once you have your two rectangles, fold them in half again so that your the width of your sleeve, which mine is the 24 inches, is on the left, and your side seam of the sleeve is at the bottom. And you're going to measure over 4 inches from the corner there on the top. And then you're also going to measure down 4 inches. Now, this is a pretty standard measurement that should fit most people. This is basically the measurement of your armpit, your underarm. Again, if you're worried about it not fitting, it's always better to cut it smaller, and you can take off some later. So I just put pins at the 4 inches on both sides and then cut a circular line, a curved line, kind of connecting both of them. Now for the casing at the top of the sleeve, I turned under a 1/4 inch, and then I turned under 1 inch, and then pin that down. The 1/4 inch is just to make sure that the raw edges are encased. Pin that down, and I did that all the way across on both of my sleeves for the top casing. And then I'm going to do 2 stitches, one very close to the top fold and one very close to the fold for the turned over fabric. Now you want to take some elastic. I used, I believe, 3/8 of an inch. You can use anything that's going to fit in that casing. And you're just going to thread it through that casing to gather it up. Now, I started with a piece of elastic that was 17 inches, which is the measurement of essentially like a shoulder strap from the top of the dress in the front to the top of the dress in the back. I did have to pull it up tighter in order to get a better fit. So just keep that in mind. You are going to want to kind of pin this and try it on before you do your final stitching on the elastic. And then you'll do that for both of your sleeves. And you see right now it's not gathered, but once I pulled it up for a better fit, it gathered that up quite nicely. Just want to secure your elastic down, and then sew your side seams together on each of your sleeves. Again, when sewing these seams, I'm just guiding the edge of my presser foot along the edge of my fabric, so it's about a scant 3/8 of an inch, and just using a medium-sized stitch, which is about a 2.5. Now, once you have your side seams sewn up on your sleeve, you're going to match the side seam of the sleeve and the top of the sleeve with the side seam of your dress and the top of your dress. And you're going to cut out the same curved kind of semicircle on both sides. I chose to have the side seam of my dress, or the one seam of my dress, on the side. You can do it in the back if you want. I just think it works better on the side. You're going to do the same thing for the other side, laying your sleeve, or you can take the piece that you just cut as your reference, and you'll cut out on the other side. So essentially you just created your sleeve armhole. Now you're going to match the side seam, or the center of the curve on the dress, with the side seam, and then the top of the sleeve with the top of the dress. This is where I would pin your sleeves in place first and then try it on. Pull up your elastic, and it's easiest if you pull the elastic in the front. You can reach it better in order to get the sleeves to fit you correctly across your shoulders, and then you can go back and sew everything down. Then you'll do the same thing with the other sleeve. And you'll see here that it's gathered now, and Twix has joined me as well to make sure that he gets paid attention to. I also turned up the hem the same way I did the top. I turned up the hem of each sleeve and just going to run the elastic through the casing, just like we kind of did at the top. And you have added a sleeve to your shirred dress. I hope this video was helpful. I know I went a little fast through it, but I will be coming out with another video in a little while that will have some more shirring ideas and some different techniques and everything. So I hope y'all enjoy this. I hope y'all will take the time to make one of these comfy dresses, and happy sewing.